When did you realize your cat was missing?
We realized we had let him out on Sunday morning at about 9 o'clock, and he never leaves for longer than a 3-hour period. So by noon we were wondering where he is, and as every hour progressed, we were increasingly worried.
So what did you do at that point?
We started looking. And of course that was the very day the clocks changed. So it did get darker earlier. So I think by about 6 p.m. it was dark, and I was in a complete panic.
Because he had never gone that long.
Never that long, no.
So you waited the evening, I guess, obviously, and
Yeah,
went by. And
once it got dark, there wasn't a lot we could do, and so of course the next day we were hunting, and to no luck with that, and started phoning vets and calling the SPCA and getting the word out.
So after a couple days went by, what were you thinking at that point?
Well, at that point we had pretty much plastered all of the mailboxes in the area with photographs of him. We had got a picture up on the internet on the local SPCA website, and we figured at that point, after Jane had been searching and run into a few neighbors, that it being fairly rough terrain out here, that he had probably been hunted himself, either by cougars or coyotes or something. So we weren't thinking the best.
What was the weather like?
It had started to get quite cold. As a matter of fact, it rained torrentially for the first couple of days after he was gone, and he never liked water in the first place. Now he really doesn't like water. But then I guess what was it? A few weeks ago, we got about 15 centimeters of snow overnight. So I really started to think that there wasn't much of a chance that he was wandering around or lost.
So that, let's see here. How and when was he found?
That was last Friday, a week ago today, on the 30th. And kayaker, although it was cold, had been out paddling along the North Shore and had seen a tabby stranded on a little rock at the base, at the water's edge, basically, at the base of the cliff. So he, when he got to dry land, called the SPCA, and fortunately the very astute woman at the Nelson SPCA thought to herself, a tabby, North Shore, Johnston Road, and called us. And I said to her over the telephone, it's been 26 days, is this possible? And she said, you never know.
At which point we realized that, even if it wasn't Pi, there was a cat stranded, and, we needed to look into it. So
the kayaker had pointed out that the cat there had to be a water rescue, because there was no way for man or beast to access this tiny little rock at the base of the cliff.
So at this point, were you running around?
Oh yeah.
Well, it was 3:30. We were packing up some packages to send out of town. It was 3:30, so the sun was about to go down. We went next door to the neighbors, and they said it was east of the house that was being constructed on the North Shore. So we went there, and they have a rather long set of stairs that go down to their dock, and we went down there and we called his name, and we heard a meow, but it was around a corner, so we couldn't actually see him or reach him.
And how did you get to him? How did you rescue him?
Well, once we realized that there was a cat around the corner, we went back up the stairs, and luckily the local contractor who's been working on the house was just preparing to leave. And we told him the story and said that there was a cat stranded, and we had noticed that there was a barge with a motor on it covered in snow, and asked if it would start. And he said, well, I believe so. So he went down with us. And we worked on the motor and pulled on it for what seemed like an eternity. It was about 15 minutes.
10 minutes at least. Yeah.
Finally got it going, and we only needed to move about 25 feet around the corner, and there was the cat stranded. And the rock was no bigger than maybe 14 to 16 inches, so he didn't even have room to lay down, really, and it was right on the water's edge. So sheer cliff face behind him, nowhere to really go. So.
So at that point, what are you thinking? Were you able to grab him, or how was it? How did you rescue him?
I tried, but almost fell off the barge, so Charles promptly removed me and with longer arms was able to reach out and grab him. And
I was amazed at how skinny and light he was, but what even surprised me more was as I carried him back home, which is, next door, a few hundred yards, how much fight he had left in him. Like he was trying to push away and jump out of my arms.
So obviously you took him to the vet or phoned the vet and said, hey, my cat's been gone and
Well,
sitting on this rock for all these days. What did he say?
We actually talked to a few of our cat people back in Winnipeg, and they advised us to start trying to feed him very slowly, and otherwise his system may go into shock, and I think that's pretty much what the SPCA woman had said as well. And he was so clingy to us at that point, we simply started feeding him. There appeared nothing physically wrong with him outside of how thin he was. So we decided we'll just keep warm him up, keep feeding him slowly over the weekend and see how he does, and he's done incredibly well. And all his system is working fine, and of course by this point he's eating everything in sight.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you talked to the kayaker?
We've tried. We haven't been able to reach him yet.
We got the telephone number from the SPCA. We did try to reach him, but couldn't reach him. Left a message. But
We'll keep trying, though.
Well, is there something you'd like to say to the person who...
Oh,
saw your cat?
there is simply no thanks. Not enough ways to thank that kayaker. It was extraordinary luck.
Oh,
that he was out that
if he had been in a
day.
motorboat, he might not have heard the cat because the cat blended in quite well with the face of the cliff. And it was so late in the season. We don't get a lot of kayakers, when it's that late. And it was just,
Just
amazing
fluke.
luck.
It was just amazing luck.
So if he's watching right now, what would you like to say?
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Absolutely.
And the same goes for the Nelson contractor that was kind enough to come down with us and help us do a quick rescue.
And the people with the SPCA and the lady who runs the website and
There's so many thanks to give. It's the gratitude is unbelievable. We love our cat.
Do you let him outside?
Not anymore.
No, as a matter of fact, we're looking to try to find a caller with a GPS because we figured if he had a GPS, we would have found him right away. He was only maybe 45, 50 feet away, just too far to hear.
It's hard to think of everywhere we look that he the whole time he was that close to us.
But I think it's time for him to be an indoor cat, as difficult as that is. So it wasn't the size of a pizza box, Jane. It was a little ledge, like right there.
Well, I kept calling it a ledge.
That was where he was.
That spot right there.
Yeah.
No, wasn't he there?
No, he was right here.
He's right on that little flat rock.
Right here. I reached over and got him right here.
You want to stand on that, we can come back and get
Yeah, right. So he might have been able to go in there, but you see what I mean? Like, this is a bit of a drop.
I don't know, I think he must have fell in and crawled up.
Well, I guess the moral of our story is when you lose your pet, don't lose hope. Because obviously incredible things are possible. Yeah.
Yeah.